Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's morning musings is Divorce the Economy. I'm doing a series of daily morning musings, and I'm using posts from my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. What I do is I read the blog post, which I wrote a while ago. And if I notice something that's out of date, I will interrupt myself and give you the updated information. And then at the end, I'll do a summary with how it relates to the world today. And also, I have some special authors, so stay tuned to the end of this not very long video and see what they are. Divorce the economy. I was at a seminar a while back and someone asked the teacher about money, and his response was, "You have to divorce the economy." What he meant was you have to separate yourself energetically from not only the economy, but the collective mindset about money. One first step is to stop paying attention to the news. How do I want to say that now? Because I do pay attention to the news. However, I don't get my news from everyday public media. So, everyday public media, the news on your regular television channel, is designed to elicit the most dramatic emotional response possible. It has to be about doom and gloom, as something positive just wouldn't be considered news. An example of this is watching news reports about the weather. The weather is an entertaining topic here in the Seattle area, and I'm fully conscious that my background is New York. Whatever. We're in a convergence zone, which means it can be snowing in one part of the city and bright and sunny in other parts. You can bet which part they'll be showing on the news that day. The camera crews have to be quick, however, because most of our snowfall melts by mid-afternoon. I guess I could rephrase this because I do spend an awful lot of time in New York. New York has 4 seasons and they have really dramatic weather shifts. I mean, they get hurricanes that start down in Florida and they get the remnants of hurricanes running through them. One person interviewed on a news show in New York can affect the entire country, even if he's only reflecting what's going on in that city. So I'll also stop myself right there because that's exactly it. If you've noticed how excited the news is about the politics in the last 8+ years, we have one side that is spewing lies and distortions, and they get the majority of the news coverage because it's very loud and dramatic. Meanwhile, the other side is quickly repairing the economy, got us out of COVID. And I realize I'm speaking all for the US here, but we have the record highest jobs, and actually the economy is booming in most of the states, except where the drama queens are in charge. So here's the thing, in order to create a different reality for yourself, you have to stop focusing on the reality of others. Pull your attention away from the collective who are operating unconsciously and put it on yourself. Stop acting like it's snowing if it's not snowing at your house. Stop acting like you've entered the next ice age if it's going to melt by dinner. You cannot create something different if you're matching the group. And we'll have to say, I'll have to temper this with, don't be complacent about a collective reality like climate change just because you happen to have good weather. You know what? Climate change is a whole thing because everything within this hologram is a creation of consciousness, and so is climate change. And I will have to say that the bigger issue of climate change, I have complete faith that we will come up with a solution because collectively we'll create a new script that will come up with a solution. But all the things that are being required to counteract climate change are like not using fossil fuels and creating new vehicles to drive is really part of our evolution. So climate change is a inspiration for all of us to come up to speed. However, this is a great comment also on disinformation that's going on in the world today because it's not a conspiracy theory. We have foreign influence of dealing with interspersing into our social media and our comments things that are half truths, and which is a wonderful way to program you and get you spun off and dysregulated. So this is especially a good time to practice discernment and notice within, because that's honestly the best way to notice the truth from a lie in this hologram. We're back to talking about the economy and money and reality, I think. So better yet, notice how the sun is shining in your life. Wealth, riches, prosperity, and abundance may be all around you, but you've had your face glued to CNN. In every moment, there's opportunity to change your experience. I am going to be talking about the energy of money in an upcoming video because the other thing I've noticed is there's a prevalence put on numbers and the amount of money. And when you look at people who have totally given their whole value of reality over to the numbers in their bank account, they're often very poverty-stricken in the emotional aspect of their life. It's really not about money, it's about quality of life. But when you're aligned as consciousness, money flows. I'm going to save that for an upcoming video. The other day, one of my students was riding her bike and worrying about the economy. She found herself turning to her expanded self for guidance and suddenly noticed deer feeding in the field across the road. It was like a giant message that there's more to this creation than the stock market numbers. When you focus on doom and gloom, you close the doors to better possibilities. When you see the beautiful fall colors and savor the wind on your face, you open yourself to more gifts from the universe. As a reverse example, I've had times of money struggles as a single parent. There was one year where I couldn't afford toilet paper, and all around me the economy was booming, but I was on food stamps. I experienced amazing miracles that year. One was a trip to Findhorn, which is in Scotland, that cost less than $500, including airfare. Money for it appeared from unexpected refunds and rebates. Someone gifted me and my children firewood for that winter. We lived in a humble cabin, but it was on the beach next to million-dollar homes. The energy of the water was tremendously healing for us. The important thing I learned from that time was that even though my income was low, I didn't have to be in a low energy state. Being on food stamps was temporary. I didn't need to experience the energetic state of welfare or poverty. I feel very privileged and entitled as I read that. And one thing I have reflected on is, yeah, I actually think I was on food stamps 2 different times as a single parent. And what I can see is how you can get really caught in that generationally. But for me, I saw it as a temporary state. That's a much bigger issue to get into as well. We all have the ability to break out of our generational patterns, and it does start by acknowledging ourselves as consciousness and knowing that aspect as consciousness has a bigger imagination than I, the one who's caught up in all the patterns, do. And so when I learn to align as consciousness, things unfold beyond my wildest dreams. One final paragraph here. Collective energy is created by groups, but you can change the collective by changing your individual experience. If enough people focus on the light within their own lives, it enlightens the whole. Refuse to have your personal reality defined by Wall Street. Pay attention to the messages from your expanded self. It's always directing you towards the light. Having your personal reality defined by whatever cultural norms or prevalent fashions or whims, when you connect to yourself as consciousness, you realize that inner part of you is an incredible resource of energetic power and creation. So if you have any experiences like this or any revelations, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to read your comments. And if you like these videos, please click the thumbs up and also click on the bell icon, because that way it tells YouTube to share this with more people and get this important information out. And if you want a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click on the link below to the skybox technique. It'll give you an expanded perspective of your life. And if you want to know more, go to my website, joan-newcomb.com. There you can sign up for an individual session where I take a look at the essence of who you are and what's going on in your life today. And I can then answer any questions you might have, past, future, living, dead. And also I can help you make energetic changes, and it's recorded just for you. And if you want to know how to do this for yourself, go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and there's my coaching special, tailor-made just for you, where I work with you one-on-one and give you consciousness techniques that help you specifically transform your life. So go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you tomorrow in another Morning Musings.